It's action on the Bomber Network. The Bombers and Jolters coming your way from Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. This Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at the track. The score is 17-14. The Jolters lead the Bombers. And let's pick up the action down there as the jammers are out and moving. Looking for skating room. Debbie Cho moving here for the Bombers on this play. And it's Pam Kaniva, number 6, moving for the Jolters. Tall girls out on this jam with long hair flowing down the back. There's Dolores Tucker with a block on Kaniva. And that's Saunders, number 7, doing the blocking on Debbie Cho of the Bombers. There goes the helmet from Debbie Cho's head. There's Saunders. Look at the blocks he's pouring in there to Debbie Cho. Spins her into the rail. There's a blocking by Tucker just up ahead there on the right-hand side of your screen. There comes Debbie Cho again. Again in Saunders City, number 7. There she is right in the middle. There it is. She's almost holding the head and slamming the knee up there. There's Valow back there with a block. Kaniva still can't. Here comes Tucker. Tucker ducked under Vallow's block, and Valow hit her teammate, and down went Kaniva. Special left untangle this play. I think 1-point Bombers. That is it. 1-point Bombers on the play. They have 15 on the scoreboard now to 17 for the Jolters.
You know, the fans watching up in Oregon, Portland, they get this game 1 week later, of course, than here in the Bay Area. So you fans watching in Portland, you have a big game tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. at the Memorial Coliseum. When these two teams meet, it'll be the only game up there. Be sure and get out. Kids are half price. You'll have a great time. That's for you fans watching in Portland. That's tomorrow that you're going to see the game. You fans in Seattle, there's another great roller derby tour coming with in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellingham. You're going to see the major leagues, the teams from the International Roller Derby League, and certainly you expect major league performances. You're going to see the same people you see on television here.
They're the greatest skaters in the world today on the bank track, bar none. These are the professionals, the best. And Saunders is out of the jam now. Dolores Tucker moving behind her for the Bombers now alongside. There she goes! Trying to get some help for her teammate, but she cannot get back there. Valow with another block on Tucker, slows her down on the rail. Valow shoves Laszlo ahead. Saunders with the knee block on Tucker. Here comes Valow again with a wicked block. Tucker is down hard, trying to get up again. Saunders gets her, she gets up, decks her again. Laszlo trying to get in the middle of it. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and they're down in a heap. I suppose it's all going to be legal in that heap. Officials trying to untangle it without letting any skater do a lot of damage in there. That's a tough job.
Walt, if our fans would like to understand the game better, we're going to tell them how to get a free copy of the roller derby rules. That's by putting the name, address, city, zip code, and the station on which you watch roller derby on a postcard and send it to Roller Derby Rules, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604, and you will receive a free copy of the roller derby rules. And I think the referee out there has a copy, Walt. He's explaining it to the skaters.
Here we go again on the track. Sometimes you get a game where they throw the rules out the window. You either have to crack down early or it's hard to crack down at all. It's where do you stop? Where do you start? They get rough like these two teams do on the bank track. But this is a rough, physical, body contact sport. That's why it's such an exciting sport. That's why there's something going on all the time. That's why it's drawing the huge crowds all around the United States and all the major arenas. Skaters here looking at a skate in Madison Square Garden in New York City. The Nassau Arena. Cow Palace in San Francisco. Amphitheater in Chicago. Myers cuts off the jam.
Unusual situation there, Walt. Carol Meyer called it off. Debbie Cho, actually, as the Bomber was out in front, Debbie was looking back at the referee to see if he'd seen the signal. She didn't know whether to keep going or not.
Tucker was down on the infield, right in front of the Jolter bench. There's a reason for the cutoff. 2 minutes to go here now in the 5th period of play. Tucker limping and Jerry Menez moving with her, but this gal won't quit. Vallow's after her again. Tucker barely got away from Valow that time. Valow didn't make contact, so no penalty call. You don't get penalties for intentions.
Fans who want to know why Jan Valow is wearing that mask, she had her jaw shattered actually in a series up in Canada. and just getting back to skating. That's a hockey helmet she has on. She's able to skate fully with it while her jaw recovers. I think she's trying to give a few more people injured jaws.
So here we go again. Over the rail, Valow put there by Tucker. And she's waiting for Tucker, who is now on the jam. Watch the fireworks as Dolores gets up to the back. There's no bomber back there to help Tucker here. Laszlo trying to get back there. There's Valow with the mask. And there is Dolores Tucker, 34. One of the most courageous gals on skates. Saunders hits her. Laszlo's back there now. Valow hits her. There goes the helmet. Stops on the rail. Saunders wants her to move up again. She's moving. Again a block. He goes right in there, grabs it. And Valow cuts across the infield to get at her. Valow trying to pull skaters apart so she can get in there and get at Tucker. Laszlo gets in there, in between them. Valow has Tucker now. Knee block, knee drop after knee drop in there by Valow on Tucker. She cut right across the infield to do that. 10 seconds left in this period. Officials have to untangle that. Penalties have to carry over into the next period of play. So the score here on the scoreboard at the end of the fifth period of play is the Bay Area Bombers 18 and the Jolters 17. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Score 18-17. The Bombers lead the Jolters as the sixth period gets underway. There are 4 Jolters out of the penalty by Jan Valow at the end of that period. Carries over into this period, and the men have to use up her penalty time of 1 minute. That's the way it goes. Right now on the jam, James Paul for the Bombers 32, alongside him. On the battle, number 4 on the play, Bob Van Kampen for the Jolters, and Larry Smith is coming out to join Van Kampen. So even though the Jolters only have 4 skaters on the track, they control the jam. They have 2 against 1, and Paul taken out of there by jump block by Larry Smith. So the Jolters are in good shape, even though they're short a man. Big Pete Boyd is back there to block for the Bombers, number 36, the best big man the Bombers have had in years, behind Charlie O'Connell. Pete Boyd, number 36, the moving wall, who covers all kinds of track. He's out there. There's Van Kampen, an elbow block, another elbow block. Pete Boyd sets himself. Stafford back there trying to give Van Kampen some help, and Pete Boyd just shoves him ahead. Stafford back there again. There he is right in front of Pete Boyd. Boyd pins Van Kampen on the rail. Stafford, number 7, trying to... He slips and goes down, and he gets it. Pete Boyd couldn't resist the temptation. He couldn't resist the temptation. And a flying body press of Mr. Van Kampen, all 225, 30 pounds of Pete Boyd. That's adding injury to insult when the man slipped and went down.
Well, you know, you say, well, there's an unnecessary penalty. I think what Pete Boyd has been told by Charlie O'Connell is establish yourself, make sure they don't come after you. And he's certainly done that in this series.
He printed himself very definitely on Mr. JoJo Stafford's midsection when the trainer working with him.
Right after this game, Walt, you're going to be talking to Charlie O'Connell. I'm sure he'll give you a few more expanded thoughts on it. I want everyone to stay tuned on the Bomber Network.
Well, the Jolters have 5 skaters out there. Now the Bombers have 4 with Pete Boyd in the penalty box. The Bombers lead 18-17. On the jam, Bob Dansell, 34, and Tony Roman, 37. He and Mike Gammon, the most prolific scorers in the history of the International Roller Derby League. Here comes the muscle man, Cal Stevens on the loose. He's the big gun in this Jolter attack. Stronger than he knows. And look at there. One to the infield, one over the rail. I don't think he realizes how strong he is. Strongest man on skate today, big Cal Stevens. Charlie O'Connell back there to block the great all-time International Roller Derby League star, Charlie O. There is Cal Stevens. Pete Boyd out of the penalty box. He's coming back there. There goes the helmet. Stevens trying to get Pete Boyd back there. Pete Boyd again. And you can tell everybody's in the air, but that's the kind of action you get in a National Roller Derby League game. This guy's really powerful out there. Pete Boyd really going into Cal Stevens, and he gets it. On the track, Cal Stevens, moving wall, Pete Boyd did his job.
You fans in Portland, tomorrow will be your only chance to see a game, and it'll be between these same two teams. That's tomorrow afternoon at the Memorial Coliseum in Portland. Be sure and get out there. You know, Walt, a lot of fans here in Northern California watch the Bombers on various stations, and we're glad to say that our prime station, KTVU Channel 2, is increasing their power with that new antenna, I guess on about the 1st of July, somewhere around there. If you are not presently watching at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon, and you live in Stockton, Sacramento, and any other areas, around the 1st of July, start trying to tune in. I think you're going to be able to get us loud and clear. That's on Channel 2, live.
Here we go, change ball on the jump. Jerry Cattell, the blonde tiger of the Jolters, is out with him, but here comes Jim Cook, number 38, moving for the Bombers. Cuts in there. They set up a double. No, it's a try to whip, but Cattell really blasted him. Cook tried to whip Paul, and Cattell kind of basically blasted this thing out. So Jerry Cattell is on the loose, but he's got to face the moving wall. Beat boy number 36. Listen to that crowd roar. They want this confrontation out there. Jerry Cattell says, "Come on back, Cal Stevens." And O'Connell blasted Cal Stevens, so he cannot get back there. And Beat Boy takes over on Jerry Cattell, and Stevens can't get back there. O'Connell making sure of that. Beat Boy with the clear. Another knee block by Beat Boy to Cattell. Blasted by Beat Boy. O'Connell doing the same thing to Cal Stevens. There they are up ahead. And again, a block in there by Beat Boy and the Blonde Tiger. O'Connell back there. He might get a shot in. He doesn't have to. And Beat Boy again. Throwing him at 230 pounds on skates can do to you.
You know, they got this big, strong Jolter team, Walt, as we were saying, and there's no rest for the Bombers. Right after the series, the Red Devils, which coach Ken Monty and Bob Woodbury and Bobby Seaver, the one and only Ann Calvello. Right after that, next series will be the New York Chiefs, the world champions, with Bill Grohl and Mike Gammon, Sandy Dunn, Judy McGuire. After that, the Pioneers from the Midwest, Ronnie Robinson, Joan West and the company. Great balanced league this year, and these, of course, are the top stars in the world. If they're playing a game in your area, be sure and get out and see it.
Top stars in the world. These skaters have featured on many national television programs. You name it, stars have been there. They are recognized as the top skaters of the day. Skaters from the Pioneers, the Midwest, the Chiefs out of New York. Here we go. Oh, come. Set up. Here comes Wallace. I think he has 2 points. I think he has.
What skating?
Oh boy. Here they go again. They're moving again. O'Connell blocking right into there. And they're moving again. Getting it out from Morosco, and they're moving again. Oh no, I don't know. They've got Roman now. Beat Boy there to help him though. Beat Boy down there to help out. O'Connell goes up. Oh no. Oh man, we got it going. We got it going here. It had to happen. Stevens and Boyd slugging away. Oh, right on the button. Boyd is down. Cattell got one in there. O'Connell covers Cattell. Here we go. They're down now. Hang on to your seat. They got a Donnybrook. I tell you, Cattell wants away from there, and he better get away from there. Everything broke loose down there. Isn't it time we said something about free copy of the rules, Jerry?
Even better, Walt, we're going to tell them how they can play a game in their city. If you'd like to have a roller derby game scheduled in your area, and you have a gym at a high school or college or an arena that seats more than 2,500 people, and this time of year, of course, it can be indoors or outdoors, write to Roller Derby Bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. And Walt, we've raised a lot of money for a lot of schools, a lot of groups. We played at University of Oregon, we played at Notre Dame, we played at Dartmouth. We can play in your city, get the Bombers or another team there. I'm telling you something, Walt, this Bomber team this year, it's a short season, we mentioned, it ends the first week of September. Be sure and get out and see a game. You fans in Phoenix, Roller Derby comes to the Arizona Coliseum on Friday, August 31st at 8 p.m., the Bombers. And also to Tucson at the Tucson Community Center on Saturday, September 1st at 8 p.m. Before you know it, Walt, the season's going to be gone.
Here we go. Penalties sanded out. O'Connell in the penalty box. Pete Boyd in the penalty box. Stevens and Cattell, 3 men from each team on the track. The score, the Bombers 23 off that last play. Now on the scoreboard, and the Jolters 17. 3:37 to go in this period. Jojo Stafford on the jam, and the Jolters in the pack for the Bombers. Gil Roscoe, pivot helmet. James Ball, 32. Jim Cook, 38. It's Larry Smith with the pivot helmet, number 5 for the Jolters. Number 4 under Bob Van Camp. Out of the jam, it's Joe Stafford, number 7, a KG veteran moving here for the Jolters. You know, if he should pass the 3 Bombers in the pack, he'd get credit for the 2 in the penalty box. But Ball breaks away from the pack. That only leaves 2 Bombers in there now. Gil Roscoe, there to block, number 39. He gets a kick from Smith, and down he goes. Smith with a backward kick in the midsection, and Roscoe wasn't looking, and down he went. And it could be 2 points for Stafford. There is 2 points for the Jolters and Stafford. Larry Smith pretty cagey out there. 19 on the scoreboard now for the Jolters and 23 for the Bombers.
You know, there is some, of course, strategy to talk about out there. James Ball, everyone says, why would he get out of the pack so late, even though he had no chance to catch the pack? He possibly kept the Jolters from getting 5 points. The rule is that with players in the penalty box, if a jammer can pass all the skaters currently on the track from the opposing team, he gets credit for those in the box. So if the Jolters had passed James Ball, they would have gotten 5 points. As it is, 2 points is damage, but it's not really as bad as 5.
So the Packers being formed again, and here we go. Both clubs at full strength now with 2:17 to go in this period. Tony Roman battles his way out of that pack on his own. He didn't have any help. He just battled his way by those Jolters. Bob Van Campen in pursuit, number 4. He's a hard-working jammer for the Shoulder Club. Roman hammer. Oh, no, he did not hammer him. Bob Van Campen sidestepped him, and Roman has to catch up now. There's Jerry Cattell to lead the charge. He's moving on Pete Boyd. He's got him going. Here comes Van Campen for the point. Comes off Van Campen. He has one. O'Connell on the rail by Cattell and Stevens, and that's another point. 4 Jolter points, 1 Bomber points in a very fast developing play. And those 4 points for the Jolters and 1 for the Bombers makes the Bombers lead by 1 now, 24-23, with 1:31 to go here in the 6th period of play. Fast and exciting action. These are the greatest skaters in the world today on the bank track. Enjoying it on the Bay Bomber Roller Derby Network. Here we go. On the far turn is Bob Van Campen again for the Jolters. And ball whips out, Pete Boyd. Boyd trying to catch the speedy Bob Van Campen. He's yelling for help. He's going to need help. He just runs over him like a steamroller. Don't stay in front of the moving wall. He'll flatten anything that gets in front of him. And the next man he's going to face is the muscle man himself, Cal Stevens. So here we go. Here we go. O'Connell can't get back there. Jerry Cattell making sure of that. Pete Boyd takes a block from Stevens, an elbow block from Stevens. And Stevens hammers him again. Gil Roscoe's back there now. Maybe he can give some help. Crowd's starting to come to its feet now. Roscoe with a whip. There's the whip. Gave Boyd enough momentum to upset Stevens, and O'Connell had dumped Cattell, and there's 2 points for the big man, Pete Boyd and the Bombers. That's the way you racked up the points.
Well, you put the big man, 230 pounds, out in the jam. If he can catch that pack, there's very little that's going to be able to stop him. And the Bombers, of course, with Charlie O'Connell blocking in there, a lot of strength. Great team.
Well, the score here at the end of the 6th period of play is the Bay Area Bombers 26 and the Jolters 23. And here we go. Walt Harris, Jerry Seltzer here at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. And we got one going, and we're moving into the 7th period of play now. The Bombers 27 and the Jolters 23. Don't forget, you see all the great teams in action. That's the Chiefs of the New York area with a great Bill Grohl, Sandy Dunn, Dynamite Mike Gamm, and Judy McGuire. You'll also see in action the Pioneers out of the Midwest and the Chicago Amphitheater. The Golden Girl, Joni Weston, Nick Skopas, Bob Hine. What a tremendous team. You'll see the Red Devils led by Bob Woodbury, Ken Money, and Valow. And I mentioned the names I've been mentioning. I am mentioning the greatest stars in the bank track in the history of this game. So here we go. Back there, trying to move in for points, number 9, Gail Byrne. Marge Laszlo doing the blocking back there. There's the back. They're mixed up in there, sent some points scored in there. Rose Durant out in front now. Laverne being blocked by Laszlo again. 15 seconds left. They're scattered all over the place. Let's see what the officials say. How many points, Jolters? 4 points. They move out in front, 27-26 over the Bombers. The referee holds his fingers up. He goes to the public address announcer, which is correct, and I get a sideways view, and it's hard to count when it looks down below the telephone pole. 4 fingers back to back. 27-26 is the score here. The Jolters move out in front again in a wild, wild game.
Maybe we can do, well, we'll put a new rule in. They have to spread their fingers. But we can't let TV run the game. Roller derby is just runs for the fans. Unlike other sports.
Here we go.
Slower pace sports.
I'd say slower pace. They can't get faster than this. Mr. Roscoe came by to say hello. Greatest game in the world, and here we go. Fast, exciting, spectator sport. That's what you've got in roller derby. We got 4 jammers out and moving now. Down goes Koshu, and in trouble is Saunders, and she's finished up by Carol Meyer. So it's Carol Meyer and Marge Laszlo on the loose here for the Bombers. And there's Jan Valow, face mask and all, the number 8 back dead a block. She is last year's most valuable skater in the International Roller Derby League, Jan Valow. She's 20 pounds lighter and twice as fast and twice as mean. And look at the battle in there. Laszlo and Carol Meyer trying to find skating room, and Saunders and Valow say no, and they put him down. Here comes Tucker back there. She's yelling for more help. She gets a block in there, but her skaters can't move in there for points. Tucker again. And again. Back up ahead has come to a standstill. The Bombers just are not going to score here, that's for sure. Solid wall put up by Valow, and goes to work, and Carol Dolores Tucker now. A penalty on both or one. I don't know.
It's a little difficult to make a call like that at that time. I guess they have to decide who started what.
You are allowed to defend yourself. 27-26 is the score here. The Jolters lead. Nothing has changed in the scoreboard. On the track, Saunders goes to the penalty box. Valow started it, but Saunders was caught. So her teammate goes in there. Valow stays on the track, and here we go again. 5 Bombers, 4 Jolters out there. 7th period of play. And whipped out of there, Rose Durant, and chasing her, Kathy Pulliam for the Bombers. Skater this game. Both these gals. Here we go. Pulliam really working on Durant. And eliminate her. Now she spins her into the ground. Now she has to tangle Jan Valow. Laszlo trying to give her some help, but here comes Rose Durant again. She just clobbers Pulliam. She didn't worry about getting in a scoring position. She was just going to work on Pulliam. Laszlo trying to pull Pulliam around while she's being battered in there. Now she gets in there, cuts off Durant, and she hammers Rose Durant. Look at Laszlo work on her. Slams her into the rail. Jamming time, I think, has run out. 1, and that's it. That 1 point will give the Jolters the edge here, 28-26 over the Bombers. And Jerry, what's the pulse of the country? You cover a lot of ground, keeping track of the roller derby action on the Bay Bomber Network. Got you unawares tonight.
Yes, well.
The interest, though, across the country has been tremendous, hasn't it?
Oh, well, last week I was back in Springfield, Massachusetts. Funny, a lot of people came up and said, you know, the Bomber series was great. They hate Charlie O'Connell back there. It's so interesting to go to different parts of the country. Here, Charlie O'Connell, Pete Boyd can do no wrong, and they're rough, and yet they play somewhere else. And the fans are just as vociferous as they are here. In Chicago, they're great fans. Everyone, of course, looking forward to that May 26th day at Shea Stadium. All teams will be on hand for that huge triple header. And look here at Kezar. What a crowd we've got here on Sunday. And the crowd's been picking up like that all over the league.
Here we go. Koshu in the jam for the Jolters, and Carol Peanuts-Meyer right behind her, number 37. 2 of the best small skaters on the track. No question, Koshu in trouble, and down she goes, and away goes Carol. Meyer now has to face the big Jan Valow. She just goes right up on top. Tucker draws back to block on Koshu, who's got it scoring. Puts Koshu on the rail. Now Tucker moving up, talking to Carol Meyer. They better make their bid because Koshu is coming up fast again. This Koshu can fly. Right up on top. Saunders in there. Here comes Koshu. She goes in there too. We got a whole pile of skaters. Down goes Koshu. She gets up again. She's got skating. She might get a point in there. Tucker turns around. Oh!
Oh! I thought they'd call a penalty.
Look at there. He pulled her around. Let's see. Officials got to call that action. We'll watch the video. Let's see what they say. And it's not over yet. Not over yet. Let's see. I don't know what the 2 points Bombers. That's it. That ties up the score. And on the rail, Tucker and Valow going at it. Officials can't get in there to get it. Look out. There goes the infield table. That's Valow, much bigger, just slammed Tucker in there. Well, officials got to call the penalties. That the score now. Bay Area Bombers 28 and the Jolters 28.
I think maybe Dolores Tucker is going to write Jan Valow a letter and tell her what she thinks about that. But if you'd like to get on the roller derby mailing list, why not send your name, put your name, address, zip code number, the station on which you watch roller derby on a postcard or letter, and send it to Roller Derby mailing list, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604. Get advance information about the next big game in your area. Walt, the big mailing was sent out to about 30,000 people telling them that the Bombers are going to open here again in the Bay Area, also in New York on that big triple header Saturday, May 26th at Shea Stadium. All roller derby fans from all over the country are taking Memorial Day to come back there to see the biggest event ever scheduled in roller derby history.
Make a great vacation, a chance to New York City and see that fantastic triple header, the biggest night in history, the International Roller Derby League. Here we go. Shooting for that record crowd set in Chicago last year, 51,500 or so. And that's Pulliam blocking back there on Rose Durant. Here comes Ortiz on the jam for the Bombers. Ortiz. He's being blocked out by Saunders, though. Look how Pulliam is really pouring it around. They're forgetting about jamming. Look out. Down they go. Two officials here. One still at the other end watching the action, as Ortiz is still trying to score on Saunders. Penalties each way, the officials signal. Valow comes on the track wants to replace one of the skaters for a penalty. I think that's quite legal. Man, listen to the roar here at Kezar in San Francisco. Oh, look at there. Look at Valow. She just grabs her teammate up by the jersey and knocks her down for not winning that battle. There's Durant. She was just knocked there by her captain. Jan Valow was really teed off for action.
You know, Ken Monty, coach of the Red Devils, is here scouting the game today. He's going to try and draft a few players. He likes that Rose Durant very much. He thinks she's a real up-and-coming skater. Maybe can be some help to Ann Cavello. The next week or two, I am sure that he's going to try and get some skaters who skate his style.
Well, I know Rose Durant looks pretty good to me, but she didn't make Jan Valow very happy on that last play, and I don't imagine Rose Durant appreciated that kind of treatment from her captain. Koshu out on the jam, but she's going to whip out Valow. Let's see if Valow can do any better than Rose Durant did. Score 29-28. There was 1 point in that play. Jolters lead here. The only jammer out is big Jan Valow. Bombers better set up their defense right now. It's Tucker and Laszlo. Meyer out of the jam, right into that double block goes Valow. She's hammering elbows in there. And then Tucker and Laszlo. And she goes by one, she goes by two, she goes by three for points. 3 big points for Valow, who was just too tough on that play for the Bombers to handle. 32-28 is the score. And they have Valow on the rail up there. Looking for a referee to make sure she doesn't get popped in there by Laszlo. This Valow, Jerry, you just got to say this gal is something on skates.
Well, you may dislike her, but with her style of skating, the weight she has, and she's lost a lot of weight this year, and she's kind of the lady in the iron cage out there. Doesn't seem to bother her at all. She still finds everyone to hit.
Hard to hit them back when they're wearing a mask like that. Here we go, 32-28 now the score. The Jolters lead with 1:15 to go in the 7th period. Time enough for another jam here. Phil Bender doing his usual great job directing on this telecast. Don Jackson leading the crew. Al Nilsson, Ernie Fields, Stanley Potter. Their efforts make it possible for you to enjoy this kind of action. Vallow's out again, and it's Carol Meyer in pursuit. Laszlo coming out to give her some help. Meyer with a block. Here comes Laszlo, and she finishes the job. Carol balance. And Laszlo moved in and finished the job. The Bombers trail by 4. 40 seconds to go in this period. Remember, at the end of the game, we're going to talk to Charlie O'Connell. Here we go. Laszlo and Carol Meyer. Meyer dumped in there. Laszlo trying to get into that double block there of Saunders and Valow. Here comes Carol Meyer again. Underneath and around for 2. And she waves, rubbing it in. Laszlo cuts in. And 8 points, I believe. Only girl they haven't passed is Francisco Shoes, moving way out in front of the pack now. One shot now. Valow goes after Laszlo. Laszlo gets the lead partially. Now, William catches it from Valow. They were really embarrassed on that play. 8 points, the biggest play of the night. And at the end of the 7th period of play, the score is the Bay Area Bombers 36 and the Jolters 32. Moving now into the 8th and final period of play. The Bombers lead 36-32 over the Jolters, and out on the jam is JoJo Stafford and Big Pete Boyd, the pivot skater for the Bombers in pursuit. The moving wall is out. Stafford says, come on up. Well, he's coming. Don't worry about that. JoJo Stafford and Pete Boyd on the jam. Here they go. Into the turn and out of the turn. Look out. Stafford stays up, though, moves back on the inside, but Boyd cuts him off, and down he goes. That Pete Boyd, man, he just blasts you out of there. You got to give him room or he'll make his own room. And now there's Jerry Cattell to block, and Cal Stevens and Stafford is back there. Into the double block goes Pete Boyd. Cattell number 9. Stevens number 8. There is Stafford back there. Look out. Here comes O'Connell. What am I going to do with him? Stafford's got him and he doesn't want him. Went back with that reverse scissor block in there, and Pete Boyd just grabbed him. O'Connell grabbed the other end, and they just brought him down in a backbreaker across that upper rail. I don't think any points will be awarded to Pete Boyd. There may be penalties, though.
You'd have to say that strategy backfired there. I guess Stafford was supposed to knock Boyd over.
Well, he had Boyd, but he didn't want him.
He's looking over the crowd for friendly faces, I guess. Of course, the fans in Portland are going to see him at the Memorial Coliseum Sunday, May 13th. Only Bomber game up there.
So here we go. Let's see who stays on the track. Stafford doesn't stay on the track. O'Connell is waved off the track. Pete Boyd is off the track. The Bombers had 3 skaters out there against 5, so they're in trouble right now. They're in trouble. Cook's out on the jam. His only hope is to get the lead and cut off this jam. Try and kill some time. Get O'Connell and Pete Boyd back out there.
I also think, Walt, as we said before, Jim Cook figuring out in this jam, they cannot get past for 5 points either, even if he can't call the play off.
Right. Jim Cook, if he can make a bid and get by Smith, watch the action here. He's got a chance. He's got it now. Now's the time. Will he do it? He didn't do it. Gonna cost him.
There's no reason in the world he shouldn't have called that off.
He didn't do it. There, he's got the lead again. Somebody's missing their signals out there. He's being hammered back there by Stevens. Gil Roscoe doing the blocking job on Larry Smith, but here comes Cal Stevens with the head of steam up. He'll just blast him, and he does. He's too big. That's 2 points in there for the Jolters. 2 points for the Jolters. Boyd on the track, O'Connell back on the track. 34-36 is the score. The Jolters now trail by 2 after that 2-point pickup in there.
I can't figure that out, Walt. Really, he had 2 opportunities, as you said, and I can't believe, even as good a blocker as Gil Roscoe is, they were overmatched in the pack. They didn't have the size of Boyd or O'Connell.
Sometimes in the heat of battle, you just plain forget the simple things that looks like simple things. Just baseball, you miss the bunt sign, and you take the pitch when the man tries to steal, and everybody looks silly, right?
Especially in baseball, Walt.
Here we go. Tony Roman on the jam for the Bombers. Bob Van Kampen in pursuit for the Jolters, and with Larry Smith in pursuit. Roman has a pretty good lead, though. He can make an effort. Here comes O'Connell and Pete Boyd. O'Connell and Pete Boyd pouring it on, eating up that track with their long strides. There's O'Connell. There go the Joltermen. Man, did he wrap them up. Now Roman at the rear of the pack. Caught in there by Stafford and Cal Stevens, and here comes Jerry Cattell back to block. Look out! Cattell, grab now, and Roman goes back and blasts him for it. Oh, things are getting rough.
He's signaling that Larry Smith is the lead jammer because Roman is the lead jammer, was penalized. There may be some shoulder points here.
Well, let's see, the Bombers did get one before they got in trouble with penalties there.
Referee Bill Morrissey was signaling continuation out there, which meant that the Bombers were penalized, couldn't call the play off, and Tony Roman was coming through. The Bombers very alertly picked that up.
They got 1 point, and they lead 37-34 now. 7:14 to go in the game. Jammers on this play. Joe Stafford again for the Jolters and Bob Van Campen. No, not Bob Van Campen, but Chris Rowe. For the Bombers, James Paul and Jim Cook.
Fans up in Eureka, also in Coos Bay, Spokane. Big games coming up your way. And, of course, Wednesday, May 23rd, Stockton Civic Auditorium, the Bombers and Ken Monty, Bob Woodbury, and Calvello's Red Devils.
Here we go. Chris Rowe in the jam. James Paul moving behind him for the Bombers. Ball working on him. Ball's got him. He spins him into the rail. James Paul skating with more confidence every day. Really coming into his own. He's caught the pack, but he's caught Cal Stevens. Chris Rowe has the lead in the jam, and he's caught Pete Boyd, and he gets a big leg block for his trouble. There's Stevens working on James Paul. He upends him, now up ahead. Chris Rowe trying to score on Pete Boyd without any success. Pete Boyd dumps Rowe. Paul trying to score again on Cal Stevens. Time running short on him. Cal Stevens rides James Paul into the rail. Rowe trying to get by Pete Boyd. Can't find any room. His time's running out. That's it. No score on that jam. It remains the Bombers 37 and the Jolters 34. 5:48 to go here in the 8th and final period of play.
Walt, you know, I was talking before about that big to-do at Shea Stadium on May 26th. CBS Television Network is pretty excited about it. They have this TV Sports Illustrated show, and on their May 27th show, they're going to feature a segment on roller derby and also the big event at Shea Stadium. Now, it will not be televised. I don't mean to imply that will, but of course, people all over the country will see the Bombers and other teams. The importance that roller derby has to so many people across the country.
Jerry Cattell on the jam here for the Jolters. Bob Dansell moving with a number 34 for the Bombers. Both clubs at full strength. Dansell down and Jerry Cattell moves away, doing his job for the Jolters. The big, long Tiger. O'Connell back there to block, and there comes Jerry Cattell. Cal Stevens is back there where he can give him some help. O'Connell looks like he's going to enjoy this. He hammers Cattell again. And he lets him have it again. Stevens blocking in the pack. The men are getting up before Cattell gets there. Stevens was dumped in there by Pete Boyd that time, and O'Connell gets him. Cattell goes by O'Connell for a point. O'Connell took that across the end. And Stevens is after O'Connell. Here we go. Oh, what a right hand. Over the top of the head, though. Look out. Oh, man. Stevens is still down. Look out. Valow on the loose. Valow on the loose.
Well, Charlie O'Connell's got a big match race coming up with Cal Stevens, and he's skating as he did 10 years ago. I haven't seen Charlie look so good in quite a few years.
Fantastic.
You know, there's one newspaper, Walt, and only one that carries all the results of all roller derby games, all the sketches of your favorite players, even a column by Walt Harris. 12 big pages. It comes out every couple of weeks. If you'd like to get one free copy to see what it looks like, write to Roller Derby Illustrated, General Post Office Box 17, New York, 10001. That's one time, one to a family. If you'd like to subscribe, it's 24 issues a year for $6, and Believe me, for the complete roller derby fan, it's the only place to get all the information.
So here we go. We have 3:03 to go in the game. And out on the jam, it's the Jolters controlling things. They have Joe Stafford, Otto O'Connell's in the penalty box. The skaters on the Bomber team are 4 in number out there, and the Jolters are 4 in number. As Cattell's in the penalty box. Pete Boyd back to the block. The Bombers lead 37-35. Elbow block, high elbow block, and Pete Boyd starting to work. He's behind him. He's been passed for a point. He circled behind Stafford. He takes Stafford to the infield, and O'Connell. Bombers in a 2-point lead. They're going to have a tough time protecting it like this. Pete Boyd didn't do anything. O'Connell did. I don't think Pete Boyd will draw a penalty. He steered the man in there, but he wasn't doing anything wrong. He let somebody else do it. Stevens over protesting to Bill Morrissey about that action over on the rail on the right. There's O'Connell coming on the track. Let's see what they say about points and penalties. 2 minutes to go in the game. The Bombers lead 37-36.
I think O'Connell's going to get an additional penalty. And unless I'm wrong, his time doesn't start until he goes into the penalty box. And with only a little over a minute and a half to go.
Well, he's out there. Well, both clubs at full strength. So let's pick it up with the action out there. Tony Roman out there on the jam. But Larry Smith, and look at him wrap him in there. Look at him wrap him in there. And the Jolters control the jam now. They have Bob Van Kampen out. He's been chased by Bob Dansell. Van Kampen cuts off the jam. He thought Larry Smith was going to be passed. So he cut off the jam. That actually helped the Bombers in this particular case. They get organized here again. They lead by 1.
Listen to those fans. Well, you know, all over the country, the various fans have ways of going at it. There's the Go Chiefs Go in New York.
This will be
and here they stomp.
The last jam in the game here, unless it ties up. 38 seconds to go in the game, but the jam will go the full 60. It starts. Jim Cook is out of there. Larry Smith has him. The block. Cook stays up. Joe Stafford is out in front of the back on the jam. So is James Paul for the Bombers. And in the back they're hitting. There are 4 Bombers out there. Roman's in the penalty box. Bombers lead by 1. 20 seconds to go in the game, but there's 40 seconds of jam time, and Larry Smith has the big lead, so it's up to the Jolters to tie or to win or to lose. The Bombers have no threat up there right now. Charlie O'Connell blocking back there. O'Connell blocking on the block. Stevens back to help. Here comes James Paul. Stevens will have to worry about James Paul. The game time is over, but there's 23 seconds left in the jam. Down is a Bomber. He draws a penalty. O'Connell, that'll be a point. That'll tie it up. More points may be scored. Jim Cook moving up. O'Connell is not leaving the track. There may be an additional penalty on this play. And additional points. Paul's in there. Paul might have a point. Man, they're all tangled. I don't know who's got what or where or why. There goes Stafford. He can pick up a bundle. They're still down. I don't know. It looks to me like the Jolters pulled this one out with that pile up there. Everybody waiting for the decision. And it's 5 points on the play for the Jolters, and they get the win here. 41-37. I guess they deserved the win on that last play, the way that things went out there. So the final score here from Kezar in San Francisco, the Jolters 41 and the Bombers 37. Well, here in San Francisco, the Bombers were beaten by the Jolters 41-37. I have Charlie O'Connell, the coach of the Bombers, with me, and I guess you can't explain a loss like that, Charlie. They just happened, right?
Yeah, the whole place went bananas. Nobody knew what was going on, especially myself, and holding 2 men like that. Once I did it, I knew I was in for a penalty, so I had to keep going through with it, and accidentally we piled up in a groove here and lost the game that way.
You know, no matter how many years I've been associated with you skaters, the greatest in the world today, I've often wondered how in the world you can work plays out there. I mean, you're going at tremendous speed, you're hitting you, and you're being hit, and you're all over the place. I wonder half the time, how in the world can you really concentrate and pull a play? You do it, and boy, I just wonder how you can keep that cool under those conditions.
Well, if you notice, most of all teams, of all the teams in the roller derby league, you'll only see their key men doing the plays, and it's not a reason because someone else can't do it. It's the reason that the guy has got it down perfected, and no one likes to try and break in a guy when there's a game at stake. So consequently, we always keep working our key men, and our key men know all of our plays. Tony Roman, Gil Orozco. Right now we're teaching Pete, and Pete is unfortunately has other tactics which are good right now at the present time for us because this is the way we're going to go with it. But he doesn't know all of our plays, so that's why most of the time I'll move him out of his slot and I'll take the position with Tony Roman or Dancel or Mallory or somebody like that. But that's what we have to keep doing. And it's hard to do it, believe me, to learn all the plays. We've got some like 33 plays to learn, and I don't believe many people can remember them all.
Now, Charlie, you mentioned the way you're going now. A lot of people might have tuned in today, and it's the first time they've seen a bomber, say, lately, and all of a sudden you're different out there in the track. What do you mean by the way we're going today?
Well, the way we're going is the way what you're going to see now on television, what you're going to see all over the United States. We're going in with the first shot thrown. We're not going to wait for the person to come back and rough us up. We're going in and give it to them first. And I think it's going to be a shock for a lot of the people across the United States because the bombers have always been the poor victims to their getting beat up, and now it's not going to be that way. It's going to be the reverse. So if we lose any fans doing this, I'm going to be sorry about losing them, but I do believe our Bay Area here is really taken to hold to this, to what they want to see us do it, and we're going to give it to them.
Well, I think, incidentally, the people in Portland will enjoy it because you and the Bombers are there tomorrow in Portland, 2 o'clock at the Memorial Coliseum, and they can look forward to the same kind of excitement of the bank truck when they see the greatest skaters today.
Right. Well, a lot of people say, well, will Pete Boyd be there and Tony and Charlie O'Connell? Well, absolutely. We'll be there tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, and we'll be there with the same tactics they're going to see all across now. We're going to go in there, roughhouse them up, and we want them people in Portland to get a big kick out of this one, too.
You're not waiting to be hit. You're going to hit first.
We want the first shot.
Well, Charlie, you certainly have started out great with the Bomber team this year, and I know the fans in the Bay Area love it, and I think they will around the country. So good luck and stay healthy.
Thank you, Walt.
Charlie O'Connell, ladies and gentlemen, who has announced that a new style in the Bomber attack this year, and it's certainly been evident if you've been watching any of their games lately on television. So that's where we're going to be when they come to your town. It's a roughhouse style of skating, but this year they're going with the rest of them. You get rough, they'll get rougher. Well, it was a tough loss here. The Bombers were beaten by the Jolters, score 41-37. It's Walt Harris speaking from Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco.